have Pluto in the fifth, but very close to the cusp of the sixth. Would you ever interpret that planet as being in the sixth house? No. The only time you would interpret Pluto or any other planet as being in the next house is if that planet is very close to an angle. That means a planet in the 12th but close to the ascendant, a planet in the 6th but close to the descendant, a planet in the 3rd but up against the IC, or a planet in the 9th but close to the MC. Your Pluto in the 5th is read as Pluto in the 5th because, unlike the angles, the 6th house cusp isn't a powerful enough point to affect the functioning of Pluto. What's the difference between two planets being conjunct in a house and two planets simply inhabiting a house in the same sign but not conjunct? In a conjunction, the degree of mutual interest is 100%. They don't just work with each other, they are each other. At some point, usually about 10 degrees, planets may inhabit the same house, but they're no longer considered to be in conjunction. A conjunction is a special relationship that I always say is like Siamese twins, and not those guys who were connected by a little cartilage. I mean Siamese twins that are sharing major organs. There are certain cases where the orbs are so wide that they're no longer working together. Mercury perhaps is at 1 degree and Mars is at 29 degrees. This far away, one is not influencing the character of the other. They would be read separately. Do these Neptune videos apply to the actual planet in the house, or do they also apply to the sign Neptune rules, in this case, Pisces? Yes, it does apply. Having Pisces on the cusp of a house is similar to having Neptune in that house. Neptune in the 3rd is similar to having Pisces on the cusp of the 3rd. Neptune in the 5th is similar to having Pisces on the cusp of the 5th. This is even more true if Pisces is on the cusp of an empty house. Check it out. Find where Pisces falls in your chart and watch the corresponding Neptune video. Don't forget to comment. So far, your videos are about the natal placements of planets, but can you generalize what you learn and apply it to transits? Yes, very much so. A video in which I speak of the natal placement of a planet can give you a lot of insight into a transit through that house. So if transiting Uranus is moving through your 8th house, you can watch the Uranus in the 8th house video and understand the general meaning of that transit. I imagine you use the Placidus house system. What do you think of the other house systems? I've recently switched to whole sign and I find it much more accurate. Placidus is my default and I like it because it gives a view of how the sky was divided at the moment of your birth. Other house systems are based on other theories. Whole sign houses are coming back into vogue. And it's an interesting system that does seem accurate, even though it's likely to move planets from one house to another. House systems are a lot like diets. You can do something low in carbs, like Atkins, and lose weight. Or you can go on a macrobiotic diet that's extremely high in carbs and also lose weight. What you can't do is mix the two together. In the same way, every house system has its own logic and its own wisdom, but they don't work if you try to mix them together. I haven't done a lot of research on this, but it does seem that different house systems are more accurate for you based on phases of life. I'm having a hard time understanding Neptune and some of the other topics. Can you help me? The outer planets and special topics relating to the outer planets, especially Neptune, are some of the most complicated videos I'll ever do on this channel. So if you don't quite understand everything, that's to be expected. I remember as a young astrology student, I was in over my head quite a lot. I read books and sat in lectures, but didn't completely grasp what I was hearing. I would just let it wash over me. It takes a while to become proficient in astrology, in part because it surrounds complicated ideas like symbolism, archetypes, the unconscious, paradoxes, the shadow, duality. You might start by trying to understand these concepts first, alone by themselves, and then try astrology again. There are two other things I want to mention that simply accelerate learning. One is to do real astrology, what I call the surgical theater of astrology. That means looking at the transits going through your own chart. You can read about a lunar return, or you can experience 12 of them in a year, paying close attention to their effects on you. That gives you a brush with the moon herself. And just as with every other language, the quickest way is to learn through immersion. I put my videos together the way I do for a reason. They're quick and heavy on information so that you can watch them multiple times. Keep revisiting the material. Try to come out of the realm of theory and into real astrology. And give yourself some latitude when it comes to Neptune. There's always confusion and frustration involved in knowing him. Just when you think you've got him figured out, your bait's gone, but the hook's empty. Can you say something about the Uranus-Neptune conjunction in Capricorn? The Uranus-Neptune conjunction happens only once every 168 years. The last time it was in the sign of Capricorn, it was exact in 1993, but it was actually a major planetary influence from 1990 all the way to 1996. The first thing to understand is that this planetary alignment demarks the modern age. People born with this conjunction had the World Wide Web in their formative years, and so they're wired differently. Their brains are designed for modernity. People my age, in their 50s and older, we limp along, but we know we aren't made for this. We have the old wiring. Uranus is revolution. Neptune is dreams and visions. When Uranus and Neptune came together, a new way of living dropped down on the planet. A new way of thinking, new hopes, new dreams, new troubles, and new fears. This conjunction of Uranus and Neptune is like a tattoo that marks these natives as the first truly futuristic people. As a group, they're unorthodox. They love getting around the restrictions of religion and society. We're talking here about the planet of spirituality alongside the planet of freedom. So there's an odd approach to both ethics and spiritual matters. I would actually not be surprised if children of this conjunction were to create a new religion, and that may be happening as we speak. After all, Christianity is extremely popular now, but it was once a strange little cult. Who knows what the Uranus-Neptune conjunction will have added to the world 100 years from now. Natives with this conjunction tend to be rather imaginative and provocative, and they have an unusual way of looking at reality. I've heard a number of them actually worry about their sanity. This may be real, or it may have something to do with the proliferation of diagnoses now. Or it may just be that their way of accomplishing things is so unusual. But yes, the worry is often there. Where this conjunction sits, there's a hypnotic quality and a strong need for stimulation in that area of life. It brings a lot of drive that the native feels they must be productive with. This is a real responsibility for them. Uranus and Neptune together in Capricorn can mean being too open to cloudy and edgy ideas. It can bring the ability to believe just about anything, no matter how crazy. This can include being nationalistic and radical in terms of politics and religion. The question with Uranus and Neptune is, have you been cast out on the fringe by Uranus and overwhelmed by Neptune's emotional sensitivity, or have you been having a mystical brotherhood experience? If you have this conjunction, think about coming in for a reading. In that setting, we can get super specific about the house placement as well as the influence of all the other planets. Thank you for watching Secrets from an Astrologer's Desk. Next is all the ways you can get in touch for a birth chart reading and full astrological services. I'm Joy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.